Hi, Rhema. It's week 31, day 4 of our Bible narrative reading plan. Today we're in 2 Chronicles chapter 32. We're continuing in the rule and reign of King Hezekiah of Judah, a good king overall. And chapter 32, verse 1 begins continuing with what we've already learned about Hezekiah. Now, we've been learning about Hezekiah in the book of Kings, so Chronicles here is a parallel. It lets us know more details of what happened, and we're going to see there's some overlap in today's reading and what we saw yesterday. So it begins telling us that after these things, these acts of faithfulness, of Hezekiah's faithfulness, now Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, he's coming back to invade Judah, to encamp against them. He's coming to make battle. And he says the things that we saw yesterday, that he's questioning God. He's challenging the people to not believe God, to say that God is deceiving them, and to say that Hezekiah is deceiving them. And so Sennacherib misunderstands all of this. He thinks because Hezekiah has torn down the high places, the altars, he's saying that this is why God will not bless Hezekiah. Of course, Sennacherib doesn't really care. He's just trying to intimidate the people. He's trying to cause them to surrender without a fight. But he continues to blaspheme, as the text tells us, and he's calling out, asking the people, what are you trusting that you would endure this siege in Jerusalem? You've heard what I've done to other nations, Jerusalem. Why would you want this? Don't you want to just go ahead and give up? But we see that the Lord, as he always does, he fights his battles for his people. He goes before them and he delivers them. We see that there in verses 20 through 23. And we're told an interesting footnote. Again, the differences between Chronicles and Kings, one of the differences is how they emphasize things. And so, as in Kings, we might often see the failures really emphasized. But here, it tells us in verse 24, in those days Hezekiah became sick and was at the point of death. He prayed to the Lord, and he answered him and gave him a sign. But Hezekiah did not make return according to the benefit done to him, for his heart was proud. Therefore wrath came upon him and Judah and Jerusalem, but Hezekiah humbled himself. All right, so we see that's a summary of what we read yesterday. We saw Hezekiah's prayer yesterday. We saw how Hezekiah fell short. But overall, the Bible is letting us know here, 2 Chronicles, the emphasis of the chronicler is that Hezekiah is overall a very good king. And we see his blessings there in verses 27 and following. And then we get the chronicler's summary of Hezekiah's life in verse 32. Now the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and his good deeds, behold, they are written in the vision of Isaiah the prophet. So remember, we have another book written by Isaiah that was available then, but is not available now to us. And so the chapter ends with the transition to Manasseh, his son, reigning in his place. We'll see Manasseh soon in our reading plan, but for now we're going to continue looking at Hezekiah. And here's a summary of today's reading. For more information, go to tunemyheart.org.